You are a person of religion, you were given certain edicts, what is the Ten Commandments, the do's and the don'ts. But in ordinary life, for most people, particularly in the public domain, to distinguish between good and bad seems to be increasingly difficult. I've always held that there are two realms, the individual gain, and the second is the public good. If one is clashing with the other, if my personal gain is clashing with the public good, then that is something bad. If both are in harmony, then that is something good. That seems to me to be a workable definition of what is good and bad for ordinary interaction between the citizen or individual and the community and the society. What are your thoughts on that?
So once you start a debate as to what is good and what is bad, actually in reality, this debate can go on forever without coming to a conclusion. Obviously, you have debated this within yourself and around yourself for many years and still there's no conclusion. And believe me, people have been debating this for thousands of years and still there is no conclusion. Why this is so is, generally, this starts from within the family, that is, people who have the authority within the family. If you really carefully look at it, essentially it boils down to this: what I do is good, what you do is bad. That extends to the society, to politics, to various things. Whoever is in a position of power, who is in a position of dominance, they may not spell it out so crudely, but in so many ways they're telling you, what I do is right, what you do is wrong. So ultimately it becomes about whoever is in a state of advantage is right, whoever is in a state of disadvantage is wrong. Well, that principle is the basis of all exploitation and all the ugliness that you see on the planet. So instead of starting a debate on what is good and what is bad, I think what we need is what is appropriate and what is inappropriate to our times, to our society, to our existence here, to our level of economics. What is right and what is appropriate and what is inappropriate. Now, if… I'm just saying for example, we are a rich nation because if you have 29 rupees per day, you are rich in this country. We are one rich nation, another rich nation is United States. So between these two, if you compare, what may be right there is not right here, because the conditions are not same. People's lives are not same, culture is not same, people's emotions are not same, people's wants, likes and dislikes are not same. So what is right there may be completely wrong here. What is right here may be completely wrong there. So within the nation, when we say a nation, we believe we are all Indians, but here everybody has an opinion of his own. It will be fanciful to think there is one person here who doesn't have an opinion of his own, who goes by Indian constitution. There's not one single person like that here. Everybody has their own opinion, their own twist of what is right and wrong, isn't it? 1.2 billion people, every one of them has their own opinions. Two people cannot agree as to what's right and wrong. So instead of looking at right and wrong, if we start looking at what is appropriate, okay, these are our conditions, this is our life, what is the most appropriate thing to do right now? Tomorrow if our conditions change, the appropriateness changes, then there will be no clashes. Constantly the clash between the previous generation and this generation, between one human being and the other human being is, your ideas of right and his ideas of right are so different. Parents and children are fighting, administration and people are fighting, management and union is fighting, simply because your ideas of good and bad are very different and it's always different. Within the family, between the husband and the wife, basic unit of the family, their ideas of right and wrong are very different. So once you enter that space, you are entering into an endless controversy, no possibility of a solution. But if you look at appropriateness of action, then we can arrive at what is the appropriate thing to do in our society, for our conditions, for our limitations. When we say Krishna, most people only think of butter and girls and flute. From 16 to 21, he lived as a brahmachari, he took sannyas, lived as a brahmachari, went through severe sadhana. Everything that he wanted to create failed with Kurukshetra war, but we call him Lord because through all this he was playful. By a terrible reality, a terrible drama that's playing around you, this you can also do, isn't it? Today is Krishna Janmashtami. When we say Krishna, there are too many misconceptions about Krishna. When we say Krishna, most people only think of butter and girls and flute. Yes? But we must understand that his butter business was all till he was 6 years of age or 8 years of age. So all this girl business only till he was 16 years of age. At the age of 16, when his guru Sandipani made him realize what is the purpose of his life, first of all he left Vrindavan, never again came back. Never again came back to see any of his relatives or the girls or boys of his area. That was the end of it. At 16, he left. When he was leaving, today if we say Krishna, we say Radhe Krishna. Radhe comes ahead of Krishna. Because their love, their intimacy, their romance caught the imagination of a whole culture in the entire subcontinent in such a way that we don't say Krishna Radhe, we say Radhe Krishna. But at the age of 16, he saw her for the last time and never again saw her. And at the age of 16, when he was leaving, he said, I played this flute for you. Now I'm going and not coming back. So, as an offering to you, for the love that you are, I'm going to give this flute to you and never again play the flute again, and he never again played the flute. From then on it was Radha who played the flute. He never played flute after 16. From 16 to 21, he lived as a brahmachari, he took sannyas, lived as a brahmachari, went through severe sadhana. After that, his entire life was committed to marry political life, political process and the spiritual process. Well, it ended up in a disaster, but he did everything possible. These things are never spoken of. In the northern plains of India, he set up over 1,000 ashrams because he wanted spiritual process not to be a separate thing. He wanted spiritual process to be a part of life. As we live, as we brush our teeth in the morning, we meditate. He wanted to bring spiritual process not as a fringe thing, but as a mainstream life, particularly to the rulers of the country, of those many countries that India was at that time. His mission was to spiritualize the political process of the day. So obviously, those days, political process was not a democratic process. So he thought, the most important thing is, if the leadership gets it, then the benefit will naturally come to the people. People who handle other people's lives, for example, a king or a prime minister or a president of a country today, or even a CEO of a company because they have hundreds of thousands of people under them, once you have such a responsibility, then every thought that you generate, every emotion that you generate, every action that you perform impacts millions of people's lives. When you have such a responsibility, it's very important you are in a good state. What you think, what you feel must be coming from a certain inner space which will work for everybody's well-being. If I have a narrow view of life, every thought that I generate will damage people's lives, every emotion that I have will damage people's life, actions that I perform and especially actions that I do not perform, which I'm supposed to perform, will cause immense damage to people's lives, isn't it? So he focused only on leadership. He wanted the kings of the day to turn spiritual. Unfortunately, it ended up in a disaster of Kurukshetra, a terrible war which wiped out, an entire generation of men, literally. But still we worship him. Everything that he wanted to create failed with Kurukshetra war. That's one thing he desperately tried to avoid is that war. But the most terrible war happened, and even he, his own clan, all fought among themselves and killed themselves. But we call him Lord, because through all this he was playful, untouched by a terrible reality, a terrible drama that's playing around you, but still untouched. So this we are saying, Lord. This you can also do, isn't it? Whether you are going to become the biggest success in the world or not is subject to many realities. But are you a successful human being? That means, are you able to conduct your life consciously, or if life pokes you, will you become an animal? This is the question. This one question, if you successfully handle, you also we will call you Lord. Yes?
I have a question regarding taking decision of my life. That means going for a new job, or like starting a new business, or going for education. What should I consider and what should I think before that to think about that decision, to take that decision?
So, essentially what you're asking is, what should I invest my life in? But the way you're putting it is, what job should I take, what education should I do? That's not the point. Essentially, the important thing is, this is a life. For every one of you, your life is precious, isn't it? Hello? It's a precious life. If something is precious, where do you want to invest this life? Into what do you want to invest this precious life? If this is a worthless life, throw it somewhere. If this is a precious life, what do you want to invest this life into? If you look at it this way, you will find something truly worthwhile to do. If you think in terms of how to earn a living, how to get this kind of thing, that kind of thing, then you will do something silly that you will regret for the rest of your life. Most people are a regret. That's why they're going around joylessly, because they're not doing what they want to do. They are not creating what really matters to them. They're doing something for a living. Earning a living is not a big deal for a human being. Every creature, every worm, insect, bird, animal is earning their living, isn't it so? With such a big brain, what is the big deal about earning a living? But unfortunately, because of 10 to 20 generations of poverty in this country, because of external occupations and invasions and stuff, because of that, people have gotten into this mode. How to earn a living, how to earn a living. Parents are constantly grilling their children, how will you earn your living? It's such a big brain. When an earthworm can earn its living, such a big brain, is earning a living a issue? No, what is it that you're going to create? This precious life, where are you going to invest it? Are you going to invest it in something that's truly worthwhile, or are you going to throw it away as a worthless thing? This is the important thing, because what you call as my life is just a certain amount of time and energy, isn't it? Yes? As you sit here, your life is ticking away or not. You're young, you may not be thinking like this, but actually it's ticking away. What is ticking away is not time, what is ticking away is your life. Yes or no? So this energy that you call as my life, how are you going to invest it? Because it's going to if you're doing something truly worthwhile, it gets over before you know what happened. Only if you're doing something worthless, it feels like a long life. Have you noticed this? On a particular day when you're very happy, 24 hours, poof, it went off like that, like a moment. You're miserable, 24 hours feels like 10 years. Have you not noticed this? So only miserable people will have a long life. Joyful people, life goes away like that, as if it's a couple of days. It passes away like that, if you are creating what you really care to create. So, one thing that every young person should do is, without the influence of the peers of your own age group, without the influence of your professors and your parents, without any kind of influence, somewhere you must stay by yourself, at least for 2-3 days, and look at it. What is it that I want to invest this precious life into? What is it that will be worthwhile today and worthwhile after 50 years for me to invest myself into? You invest your life into that, whatever it is. However small, big, it doesn't matter. If you see that this is something truly worthwhile and you invest your life in that, this will be a life of fulfillment.
I know you don't like to get drawn into politics, Sadhguru, but something which has hit very close home is recently there was a man who was injured in a explosion that took place in Mangaluru. Now it turns out that this man Sharik, on his WhatsApp status, had a statue of Adiyogi. How do you read the fact that here's a man who was inspired by ISIS literature? He apparently self-radicalized, he had a handler, he was caught in an explosion, and he had a picture of Adiyogi.
I think I should be glad that even he is carrying Adiyogi. That's how I would like to see it, but that's not the reality, I know. One thing is, he is trying to mask his identity, that is a clever thing to do for the work that he is doing. But the important thing is that we need to understand any image of this kind, you know what happened in Afghanistan to the Buddha statues. This has happened across northern plains, that anything that was considered idolatry was destroyed because somebody firmly believed that. So now I think most people have settled, okay, you do your thing, I do my thing, it's okay, I think we should bring that. So there are still some radical elements going on like this. For them, the most terrible thing is that there is Adiyogi statue standing there, which hurts them in some way because they think we are worshipping. We are not worshipping, we are using it as an inspiration to go in a certain direction. But still, that is the belief. So this education needs to happen to all communities, that how you want to reach something beyond yourself. See, essentially, let's see it this way, whatever your religion is. I'm somebody who's never read any scripture of any color. I've stayed away from that. Whatever it may be, essentially I believe all religions were created to help a human being in some way to transcend their limitations and find higher qualities within themselves. Somebody will do it by prayer, somebody will do it by ritual, somebody will do it by all kinds of worship, somebody will do it by meditation, somebody will do it by knowledge, it doesn't matter how. Essentially in yoga we say there are only 4 ways. You can use your body and do it, we call this karma yoga. You can do your intelligence and do it, we call this jnana yoga. You can use your emotion and do it, we call this bhakti yoga. You can use your life energies and do it, this is called as kriya yoga.
So whatever religion you may come from, in some way it is a combination of these four things. In what proportion, it may vary. But that's all a human being can do. You can use your body, mind, emotion and energy, there's nothing else for you to use. You can invent whatever you want. So, this maturity needs to come. I think it's beginning to happen in the world, across the world. We're reaching billions of people every year. In spite of that, what I see is there is small fringes, margins of people who still firmly believe whatever is being told to them. So I think this needs to change. It is not anybody's business how an individual person is pursuing his own well-being. So about Adiyogi becoming so popular that even terror suspect carries Adiyogi, I think it makes me very happy.
Do you fear though that he could have been thinking of targeting?
That is always there, that is not new for us. I don't know, I have not counted, and on average in a year how many death threats come to me, they keep coming. But still I'm alive, so it's okay.
What… is it a cause of worry that in the place that you live and in other pockets, in Karnataka, for example, this gentleman was in Mangalore, he travelled to Tamil Nadu, he travelled to Coimbatore, he travelled to Kerala, that there is growing radicalization in a sect or in a group of people?
No, you must understand, he's doing the same route that I did. I was in Mysore, constantly traveled to Mangalore, then Mysore to Coimbatore. This guy is traveling the same route. I know I'm joking about a serious subject, but it's very important that we learn to handle the most significant aspects of our lives. We learn to carry it lightly, otherwise we will want to kill each other. Let's not go there. "99% of the cosmos is unmanifest. But today, modern physicists are saying this unmanifest dimension of the existence is tremendously powerful. They're saying largely it's unmanifest, it is dark. And we don't know what it is, so we're calling it dark energy. Here in this culture, in the yogic culture, we always refer to this as kala. There are two aspects. In India, in this culture, we don't have two separate words for time and space. Time is also kala, space is also kala. Kala means darkness, darkness means space. So you must understand this. In your experience of life right now, because of the nature of the visual apparatus you have, you can only see that which stops light. You can see this hand because it is stopping light. Something so vital as air, generally you cannot see it because it doesn't stop light, unless you happen to be in Delhi, of course. Here you can see the air. So anything that does not stop light is not in your perception, because for you to see, it has to stop and reflect light, only then you will see. So what is considered space is dark because it doesn't stop light. Light may be going through, but you don't see it because light was not stopped by anything. So all that dimension that you cannot see is dark for you. So that dimension of space is referred to as kala, and time also is kala. Here we are seeing, within our experience, we see time is the basis of space. In the sense, only because there is time, point A and point B are possible. Generally, logical thinking would be, because there is a distance, there is time. No, because there is time, distance is possible, space is possible. So we don't have two words for this, kala means time, kala means space. So this dimension of unmanifested existence is called Shiva. Shiva means that which is not.
When that which is not is just there, if little bit of energy play happened, which we refer to as Shakti, suddenly he roared. When he roared, he took the form of an ellipsoid. This is what we refer to as the linga or the first form. So we said that which was Shiva, that which was unmanifest, when it manifested, it came out in the form of a roar. A roar means a Rudra. A roarer is a Rudra. He roared for a period of time. So that phase is called as Rudra. When he settled down into many manifestations today that we refer to as creation. When I see the fertility clinics, my heart sinks because this is coming from a fanatism that only what comes out of your body can be yours. It's a fanatism. Why can't this person be yours? Why are they not yours? This is what being human means. This is what humanity means, that if you are willing, you can live here without any sense of boundary. Boundaries are not fixed upon you by nature. It is an unconscious, compulsive boundary that you're setting for yourself. That means you have not explored the dimension of being human. You're still trying to operate like a creature on the planet. If you explore the dimension of what it means to be human, you would see inclusion does not mean biology. Inclusion means consciousness. If this comes, if consciousness rises, you will see we have hundreds of couples who are each are full-time volunteers and part-time volunteers. None of them have children, they've just chosen not to have because I'm giving them thousands of children, millions if they want, if they're ready. So where is the need to biologically identify with one child? I'm clearly noticing who is clapping and who is not, it's okay. So, I'm thinking of something very audacious for which I'll become super unpopular. I'm thinking of instituting an award for all those young women who are healthy, who are capable of having a child, but choose not to have one.
Oh, you got a good endorsement.
Because whether you realize this today or not, you think the problem is parking, you think the problem is garbage, you think the problem is healthcare. No, the problem is population. There is not the problem.
How do you measure, one measures their own spiritual progress at an individual level?
Oh, you want a meter? Oh, we'll give you a meter. Don't worry about your spiritual progress. There's no such thing as spiritual progress. Are you becoming more available to it? That's all the question is. Let's not talk about something which is not in your experience, because if I talk about something which is not yet in your experience, there are only two options, either to believe me or disbelieve me, isn't it? Believing doesn't get you any closer, disbelieving doesn't get you any closer. So let's talk about something that is in our experience. What condition, what state of mind, emotion, body, and let's leave the energy because that's not in your experience. What condition of your body, mind and emotion makes you more available to life than the way you are right now? You tell me. If you are sad, do you become more available? If you're tense, do you become more available? If you're peaceful, do you become more available? If you're blissful, do you become more available? In which condition?
would you become more available to the life process. If you're in utmost pleasantness, you become more and more available to everything around you, isn't it so? Right now you're feeling very happy. This one comes and asks some stupid question, you're okay with her. That one comes and asks something else, you're okay with her also. This one comes and asks something, you're okay with that also. You're in a certain state of unpleasantness, you're irritated, frustrated, angry, depressed about something. This one comes and even tries to say something nice to you, this will go. Yes or no? Even to simple aspects of life, you are more available only when you're in a certain state of pleasantness, isn't it? So let's measure by that standard. If by the day, if you are becoming a more joyful human being, you just keep accounts of this on a daily basis, from yesterday to today, am I a little more joyful? If you're keeping accounts and if you're becoming more and more joyful by the day, and your face instead of becoming like this is slowly becoming like this, that means you're progressing. Yes, you're definitely progressing. Because spirituality is not some nonsense up there. It is about becoming available to life process in its fullest possibility. Not just to the physicality, not just to the mentality. To becoming available to life process in its fullest scope. This is spirituality.
There are 4 ways to become meditative. So you can use the body to reach your ultimate nature. This is called karma yoga. If you use your intelligence to reach your ultimate nature, we call this jnana yoga. If you use your emotion to reach your ultimate nature, we call this bhakti yoga, yoga of emotion or devotion. If you use or transform your inner energies to reach your ultimate nature, we call this kriya yoga. On a certain day, these 4 yogis, all of them are taking a walk together. Usually they can never be together because they can never get along. Because people who follow the path of intelligence or intellect, they have great disdain for others. They think everybody else is a nutcase. Devotional people, they have pity for all the other people. They're missing everything. Karma yogis, these are people of action. They think everybody is weaving all kinds of philosophies to hide their laziness. Kriya yogis have absolute disdain for everybody. Because after all, the whole existence is energy. If you do not transform your energies, what? So these 4 people cannot get along, but today all of them taking a walk together. Suddenly a thunderstorm broke loose, big rain and wind. They started running looking for shelter. The man of devotion said, in this direction there's an ancient temple, let's go there. He knows the geography of temples, so they all ran there. Then they saw a temple where the walls had collapsed long ago, 4 columns and a roof. Underneath that, in the center, there was a deity, an image of God. They all ran there to the temple. Then the storm became more and more severe, it started lashing from every direction. To avoid this, they hugged the deity, all 4 of them hugged the deity, not because they have fallen in love with God, just to escape the rain. And suddenly God appeared. In all their 4 minds, the same question, oh, why now? We did so much yoga, so much devotion, so much worship, you didn't come. Now we are just escaping the rain, why have you come? God said, I have been waiting, at last you 4 idiots got together. So these 4 have to get together, then you become meditative. Right now, your mind is going in one direction, your body is going in another direction, your emotions are going somewhere else, your energies are different matter altogether. If we can somehow align them for one moment, we will see
there will be a different dimension happening within you.
Well, if you made it here, it shows you're ready to change. You're done with running. This kind of attention is rare. It's precious. Drop your city in the comments, and if you'd like, share this with someone who's also thirsty for clarity. Thank you, Big Hug, and see you soon.